Hi there. Last time you saw me prepare the bow for the lamination. So now I have the surfaces, the inside surfaces of the hull and the top and the front and the side prepared for lamination. So that is what we are going to do today. So let's start with that. And first we need some glass fiber that I have here. I just need to cut it to shape so that the sheet is prepared ahead of lamination. I lay out the cloth to follow the profile and cut with some margin to the edge and continue with the next panel. When I have prepared the glass, I start preparing the surface. I smear thickened epoxy on the surface. This is to fill any remaining voids and wet the cloth from below. Now I can press down the cloth onto the surface and wet out the cloth. I use short, gentle strokes to press the cloth in place. When I'm done, I move on to the next section. Also here I pre-wet the surface, so that the cloth will be connected to the surface when I lay it down. To avoid lifting the wetted cloth, I use gentle strokes, working mostly in a direction with less bending. Wetting out that thoroughly before moving on. At the jointed areas around the hatch, I strengthen with strips of 300 gram cloth. That will spread the forces from the front past the hatch. When the strips are wetted out, I add the continuous cloth. I finish off this panel with the sides, where I add smaller sheets. The overlap with the previous sheet is large. Thus, this section will be just as strong as the rest. Actually, with large overlaps at the right location, the overlapping section will be stronger, thus strengthening a jointed area like here. I take care of the easier flat side panel. It's much easier to get a good result working with gravity. The curved area where you need to laminate on the vertical side is more difficult. But working with thickened epoxy helps, as it's less risk that the epoxy will run down from the side. Around the back hatch there will be less forces. Thus, I don't need to use more than a thin 160 gram cloth. I finish with the easy, totally flat top panel. Here I would not need to work with thickened epoxy. But as I have some left from the previous panels, I use it. Also for wetting out the cloth. I use up the rest of the batch to refill the first laminated sides. After a couple of hours, when the epoxy is still sticky, I prepare a new batch of epoxy. I use this to refill the cloth. This layer will encapsulate the cloth. As the epoxy hasn't cured fully, the bond will be chemical, thus very strong. This is all for this time. Next time I think I will continue with the bulkheads. Please join me then.